go-to list of things that you have to like search and destroy and get rid of because you know they're your crutches.
Yep. Oh yeah, and it's funny to go back to something that you're trying to thin down anyway to find all those and kill them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
without creating a duplicate crutch because you're trying to kill one crutch word.
Yep.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, this will work. And then like, wait, I can't do that 10 times.
I can't do that because I've got that here. How many different synonyms can I use?
Yep.
One screen, you've got your manuscript open. The next one, you've got the thesaurus open.
Yes. All the time.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Yep. Merriam-Webster is my BFF.
You gotta do what you gotta do, though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Anita. She's
Happy
always
New
there,
Year,
right
everybody.
as we start the show. I love that. It is New Year. It's
2023.
I'm not going to get used to saying that for a while.
Yep.
I know.
Yep. Agreed.
Hopefully this year will be gentler on us, though.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we're due.
I think so.
Like everyone started last year, new year, new me. This year I'm like, not making any promises.
Yep.
Nope. We're going to just slip into the new year and just go
hope and pray.
It's the first year outside of that October thing that I have scheduled. It's the first year I have nothing scheduled with my editors.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Which Katie knows that this is a big deal because I usually have structured. Every quarter I got a slot with my editor, but I'm like, nope, I'm going to have fun this year.
Oh, awesome.
I'm going to go on cruises. I'm going to go to weddings. I'm going to have summer.
Wow.
I'm jealous.
Actually live instead of live in front of the computer.
I live vicariously through you this year.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
You can.
I'm coming in quiet this year. We're just gonna, tiptoe through the year. Hope it's gentle to me.
Made no New Year's resolutions. Just been like, yep, 2023. I'm gonna have fun. Not that I don't usually, but
I like it. I like it.
TJ, did you have any New Year's resolutions?
No. Oh my God, no. Well, to get through the year. I have the complete opposite. I have this year is I was looking at my schedule like, what in the hell was I thinking? This is insane. How am I going to meet this?
Yep.
I'm already stressed out and we're 7 days in?
Oh. That's why I'm like,
yeah.
It's the first time I haven't put that pressure on. Now,
awesome.
Watch it be the year that I write more books than
I
ever did before.
Right. But at least you're doing it on your own time, and there's no pressure. That's the
I really have one have to do. That's the only
I have
to do because I've already committed to it.
Right.
So
yeah, I have like 7 have tos this year. And I don't know how that happened. I didn't because I did that last year, and I was like, okay, I gotta quit doing this. This is ridiculous because I have a harder time. Like I'm so much better at if I don't have a deadline. I'm complete opposite of I think probably 99% of the writing community because most people it seems like when they have a deadline they're like, oh yeah, I get so much more done. And I'm like, I just get stressed out and I can't function. But if I don't commit, then I can write all day long and it just flows. So I don't know why I keep why I did that. Yeah, isn't that weird?
I procrastinate and then I'm like, oh, I have a deadline.
Yeah, see, I would, oh my gosh.
I tinker and then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get this done.
And you know what though? I do that, but I do it like 3 months out. Like I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get this done because it's due in 3 months. And then when I get it done, I'm like, what the hell was I so freaked out for?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, hopefully, like I said, 2023 takes care of us all. Gentle to us all. Lets us get through it with no problems.
My birthday is January 23rd, 2023. So hopefully that's a good, omen
sign
for all of us.
That's a good thing. I'm a couple days after you.
Are you just a couple days after me?
25th, yeah.
Nice. Wow. Yep. I love the January birthdays.
So hoping.
I'm July, so I'm 6 months out from you guys.
Yeah. The summer baby.
Yes.
You get to have the cool pool and lake parties, whereas we're like
I get fireworks
on our birthdays. Yeah, see?
The July 5th, but
So
when you're that close to Christmas, they forget your birthday. Yeah. Like, we just got you presents.
Well, and then, or I don't have any money. I can't get you presents. My daughter was due on July 4th, and I was hoping that she was born on the June 26th, but I was really hoping she would be born on July 4th, because in my mind, I was like, I'm totally going to lie to her for as long as possible and tell her that the fireworks are for her birthday. I was so set for that.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Well, my mom went to a July 4th party, and this was before they knew alcohol was not supposed to be tried.
Right. Well, at that point, I mean, you were all cooked. You're good.
What's wrong with me, people?
She probably had an easier labor and delivery.
Yes.
There you go.
Probably.
I mean, that's a win.
Yes.
Well, should we get down to business?
We're
6 minutes into the
actually talk about books.
Possibly, but let's introduce you first. They know us. So TJ, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you write.
Okay. My name is TJ Bell, which I'm still getting used to saying that, because it's a new pen name for me, or fairly new. It's like 6 months old, I guess. I've actually been published for 10 years now. My other pen name is Tammy Lund, spelled Tami, because I'm weird like that. And I write contemporary romance, contemporary suspense, and I also write paranormal. And so last year I decided I needed to split those two because they're very different. And so TJ Bell is all the paranormal, and my first release as TJ Bell, funny enough, was a reverse hair or a Why Choose trilogy, which is hilarious because I had never written one before, and I just decided I'm gonna start this pen name with a bang. So,
literally,
right. So I kind of went way out of my comfort zone and wrote, sex scenes with all kinds of dicks flying around. But it was really fun because I also write. There's very much a strain of humor in everything that I write all the time. Like I don't write serious. And so it's actually really fun to do, kind of work the humor into that. But yeah, so this is I started releasing those last summer. Like I kind of introduced the pen name and started releasing last summer. So and my next release is next month, which will be my 5th release under this pen name.
Wow. And you said it's only a 6-month-old pen name.
Yeah.
So what was the new release? Is that the one that you sent me the picture of?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I want to drool a little bit tonight.
Yeah, this is it's Once Rejected, Twice Shy, and it's actually Rejected Mate is like a not a shared world, but there's there's a bunch of different authors writing in kind of this world. Like none of the books are all related to each other, but it's just the Rejected Mate theme. So this is like the 2nd or 3rd one that'll be released under this Rejected Mate concept, I guess. But I'm super excited about this one because and it's funny because I feel like I'm talking like I've been published for so long, even though this is a new pen name. But this is like, I haven't written a book this long in probably 8 years. It's like 85,000 words, which I'm closer normally to like 50,000 words typically. So I just kept writing and writing. I was like, and it just keeps going. And there, you know how sometimes when you write like in the middle, you can kind of get, well, I guess if you're a pantster like I am, like you get to the point where you're like, okay, where do I go now? I'm not really sure where. And you kind of not run out of steam, but like need to take a step back and figure it out. But this book just kept going and kept going. And it was like action, 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 action. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep writing.
Yeah. If it's coming out of you, just let it go.
I mean, with inspiration like the cover model.
Right.
Yeah. That expression on his face, just, ooh.
Yeah. And he fits the hero in this book, because the hero in this book He does not want to fall in love. He just wants to do his job. His job is to protect the queen, and that by God, that's what he's going to do, and he's not going to deviate. And there's a lot of inner turmoil with this guy. So lots of build up. So it was fun. It was really fun to write. I'm excited to put it out there.
Yes, we just want to.
Right.
No offense, DJ. I'm gonna just have her randomly put that
right. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Of course, I wrote it not anticipating it being a series, but it always ends up you fall in love with these extra characters, and you're like, I gotta write their love story now too. Yeah. So now I'm like, well, how the hell am I gonna do a cover that good for the second book in the series?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's like Bridgerton.
He doesn't. He
looks like
he did remind me. I can't remember his name now, but the Duke from
the Duke.
the
Duke.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I like the memes that were flying. I watched Bridgerton for the plot.
Yeah.
It's just
right.
for him.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes, that's a good similar to the Duke.
It's hilarious. I read all those books before, like literally 20 years ago, probably. And so when it came out, I was like, oh my God. And I had heard that, I can't remember what they call it when they do the blind casting or whatever. So they weren't looking at, any kind of race, creed or whatever. And I was so excited to watch it. And I was like, this is all, I mean, and I don't say this lightly, but this is almost better. It wasn't better than the books. I mean, the books are always going to be better because they have so much more detail in them, but the images on the screen.
they did some fantastic, imagery
casting,
for that.
Yes.
Not just the Duke.
Yes.
But the scene, the scenery and all of that. Yes. They just did such a fantastic job with it.
I completely agree. Yes. Yep. And all the ball gowns and the hair and right. And the Duke. Right. And can we go back to the Duke?
Yeah.
Now the God, I can't remember anybody's names, but so the second season, the Viscount, is that how you say it?
The Viscount, yeah.
The Viscount.
Yeah, Viscount.
His the brother who is an artist, like that's like the hero, like that he is the hero, like that's the kind of hero that I write. Like just the fun loving, laid back, have a good time, always cheerful, like totally like I don't know if is that a cinnamon hero? Like is that I don't know. Or a beta hero? Like I don't know how to describe that.
I mean, somebody said cinnamon roll was all mushy and
and you know what? When I first heard that,
I didn't get that. I'm
like, when I first heard that, I was like, "What are we writing? Like, are we writing putty middle-aged men now? What?"
The dad bod thing is true, though.
I'm like, no, it's not the dad bod thing.
Yeah. And it's like kind of has exploded recently, and I'm like, so do I want? And I finally like Googled like, okay, what is the definition? I was like, well, these kind of are. I mean, my heroes. That's kind of what I write, but I'm like, what kind of image does that put in people's minds?
And they're not. Well, they can be mean, but
who's in charge of naming these things?
Yeah, I know. Can you come up with something that's a little more sexy sounding?
Yeah. I don't know.
I like that kind of a hero. I like the softer, not necessarily the have to be the strong alpha male.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that. Let's see the other sides now.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Let's see the soft side, the caring side, the nurturing side.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and it can be, and they
still have the,
yeah, and they're still badasses. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
So, and they still have issues they need to overcome.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah.
Okay.
So 6 months with this new pen name. And then you had said something before about kind of your trademark with your original writing style.
Yeah. Let's talk about the trademark. Put up that screen again.
Right? So I've been published for 10 years and under Tammy Lund, and it was probably, I tend to I'm about to publish 5 books and it's only been 6. Well, I guess it'll be 7 months by that point. But I had started the cool thing about the pen name was I planned it out. Whereas in the first time I was published, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was just like free for all. But at least this time I actually have a logo and I wrote the books before I ever introduced the pen name. So it was all planned out, which is nice to finally get to that point 10 years later.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't plan anything, which
I know I'm blowing my own mind, trust me, because that's not me either. But so when I started first publishing, I didn't even notice it. Somebody else called it out to me, and I don't know if it was a reader or another author who beta read for me, but they were like, "You realize that there is a shower sex scene in every book you have published?" And I was like, "Wait, really?" And then I thought about it. I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Apparently, I have a weird fetish that is now going to be in every book I ever write."
But will it be in the TJ Bell brand?
And crazy enough, totally accidentally, there is not going to be a shower scene in this one. And it's funny because my editor, when I sent her the manuscript and she sent back the first draft or her first round edits, that she called that out in the email. She said, "I just want to make a note that I did not see a shower sex scene in this book." And I was like, "Oh my God." And I actually just finished edits and just sent them back to her today. And I was trying to figure out where I could put one in, because I was like, this is like a thing. This is my trademark. But then I realized that's my other pen name. That's the trademark. This one, I haven't really been around long enough to set up a precedent like that. So I kind of let it go. So this might be the only book I ever write that doesn't.
I do. I mean, I do a lot of shower sex scenes too. I don't know what. I don't know why. What is it about that?
Oh no, Melanie.
Give the people what they want.
Well, hopefully this will appease Melanie, who just said she's not going to read it now. No. So the other scene that I notice I write all the time is I do have a total affinity for sex against the wall. I find it totally hot. And this one has a serious hot sex against the wall scene in it. So hopefully that makes up for it.
Of all the things to be branded for, I love that.
I know. Right? What's the craziest sex scene you ever read or wrote?
Gosh. I'm trying to think what I remember reading one, and I don't even know if I should talk about it, because for the life of me, I won't even be able to tell you the name of the book. It was a dragon book, and it was definitely erotic romance, which I didn't realize when I bought it. I mean, I didn't buy it. I actually got it from the library. And I was reading it and I was like, is there a plot here? But they were very well written. And one of them was up on a high-rise building, and they didn't have sex while he was in dragon form, but he swept her off the building in dragon form and kind of took her for a fly and then landed, and then they had sex. And I was like, damn, that's pretty hot. But what's my craziest sex scene? Oh my God. There's so many to choose from. I don't even know. The why choose probably is the craziest, because there's more than 2 people involved. And I when I decided to write Why Choose, and I hadn't really read it very much before I decided to write it, so then I had to read it so I make sure I was writing what I'm supposed to be writing. And there was an interesting trend in Why Choose, and maybe it was the ones I kept finding, but they're very much slow burn, it seems like. And I was like, Melanie. And I was like, well, I feel like if you're reading Why Choose, you're reading it because you want a lot of sex with your plot. So I was like, well, I'm not going to write slow burn. I want to jump right in. So third chapter into the first Why Choose I wrote, like she meets, the heroine meets, it's fated mates, so they meet and like instantly know they're mates, but they're annoyed by it, of course, because they don't want to be. Well, she doesn't want to be. They are kind of like, okay, this is cool, but she's like, yeah, I'm not, I work alone, this isn't how I do things, because she's kind of vigilante justice person. And so like third chapter in, she's over, like she can't take it anymore, she's so attracted, so she basically has sex with all three of them in one night separately.
Yep. Okay.
So she like goes, she hooks up with one, and then he falls asleep, and then she leaves, and she's out in the hallway, starts talking to the other one, and he's like, you know, they're kind of flirting, and then it's a long story, but they basically saved a bunch of women from this like evil bad guy. So like they brought them all back to this house, and they're all like sleeping in sleeping bags everywhere, and all the bedrooms are taken. So her and the second guy don't have anywhere to go, because he's giving up his bedroom, and he's just going to sleep on the floor somewhere. So they end up going into the bathroom, and they didn't have sex in the shower, but they did on the bathroom counter.
Yep.
And then she ends up finally going to hook up with the third one, and that's just, you know, in bed, boring. No, I'm just kidding. The buffet But yeah, I remember writing it. I was like, holy shit, this chick just banged 3 guys in one night. Damn.
A UTI waiting to happen.
Right. And it's getting really good ratings, so I guess, you know.
Again, give the people what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Jade, how about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Reading? I think the one I just read about on a horse.
Right.
It was probably the funniest thing. It was funny.
That is
funny. It was
funny.
good and it was funny.
Okay.
But that was KF Breen. And then writing, it's, I think, in Pack Magic, which is coming out in February, in a Shadows and Fate collection. There's an inversion scene. You know, the inversion boots.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Man, y'all make me feel vanilla now.
I'm like, that's probably the most wildest, because I'm like, I don't think I had flying through the air. Because that could be
a little challenging.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, plus you can't you can't get into the bestiality, so they got to be human when they're doing
exactly.
it.
Well, there was an Angel series I read. Actually, it was Faye. It was Laura Thalas's The Bargainer series. Yeah.
You should never say that name.
I could never say Laura the Bargainer.
Yeah. Laura V.
Yes. And they actually do it in the air because he brings them up. So
nice.
That's the second one that I read.
So when you wrote yours, were you laughing like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did this? Or were you like, holy shit, this is hot?
A little both.
Perfect.
I was thinking about, some way for her to show dominance.
Yes.
Rather than him. Because they're both alphas fighting for
okay.
alpha fated mates. And they both want to be the alpha of the pack. And
that sounds awesome. Now that is right up my alley. Yep. I am a big fan of the strong, badass heroine.
Oh yeah. That's me. That's mine. mine are all.
Well, that's perfect.
Badasses, but yeah, she does not want to give up her alpha status, but the pack doesn't really accept her because she's not a purebred.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like that better than because she's a girl.
No, nope, because she's not a purebred. But
I like it.
But yeah. Yes. So yeah, that and that scene they were trying to establish who is the boss. So
that's awesome.
Power struggles. Those are always fun.
I gotta go pre-order this one now because that sounds cool. I mean, just the whole concept, but especially that scene.
Yeah, that seems really hot. What about you, Katie?
Yeah.
It's
What
been
is-
so long since I've written one of those scenes. I'm trying to think. Like, I've written the blue ball scenes. Those are fun.
Mhm.
Where you get them right to that point and then walk away on purpose to teach them a lesson.
Right.
But I don't think since I wrote with Wilson, I don't think I've done an actual erotic scene all the way through.
Maybe
And those were nice.
we'll have to put something in the new series.
Maybe. But it's been like so long since I've actually been in that mode to write that stuff. That,
Yeah.
I mean, we've done the blindfolds, we've done the light bondage.
Mhm.
But nothing like extravagant like you're talking about. No flying, no inversions. You're making me sound vanilla now. Jeez.
I'm like, okay, what's the
Right?
I'm getting so rusty. I'm gonna go have to read some of that stuff.
refresh your brain.
Yes.
So what are you guys writing together, or what are you going to be writing together?
Let me pull it. Do you have it or no? Katie doesn't have
I have
it.
what?
Hold on.
No,
What,
you
you
have
guys-
the covers. I don't have the
I
covers.
have the covers. I have the covers.
I don't even have a copy of the covers.
I should set up a Google Drive for us anyway.
Yes.
Where is that? Where is it? It's urban fantasy, but
Okay.
hang on. Hold please. Hold,
If I were
please.
musical at all, I'd be playing Jeopardy theme
Yeah,
song
the
right now.
therapy series. Thank you, Melanie. That was with Wilson. That was I loved that one.
Yeah. All right.
That was the light bondage.
Let's see. Share screen. Hold on. Hold please. Where is it? Where did it
And
go?
actually, those might still exist somewhere. I all the stuff that I worked on with Wilson, I gave him back the publishing rights to, so that if he wanted to adjust it and republish it, because I wasn't doing anything with them, so he might still have those out in some form.
So we're writing Please Stand at book one.
Look at that.
There's book one. Yep. Asphalt Jungle. And then we have Mean Streets.
She's so pretty.
And
I love the hair.
Crossroads.
The green hair got me.
Yes.
Who is your cover artist? That looks really familiar. I mean, the style looks familiar.
This one is, I think it's Crooked Sixpence.
Yep. I would have guessed that.
Yeah, I have to look. Actually, it's CJ Romano for those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to look at my spreadsheet with all my, and mind you, I have a lot of covers.
Yeah, she does.
Well, and you know what? And I'm the same. Like some people like have the same cover artist for everything. Like I don't at all.
I have a few.
Yeah, so do I.
So I mean, here and there.
Well, and I think for me, I've written such weird. Like I was on a paranormal rom-com stint for a while. Well, that's obviously totally different covers than anything else. And then you know, the contemporary obviously is different. And I have this Rockstar series that I'm going to start publishing soon that, oh my God, I'm so in love with the covers. And it's just I totally found this cover artist on Facebook. I don't even know what I was, I know what I did. I started I just went on Amazon and just typed in like Rockstar romance just to get a feel for what's out there. And I if I liked the cover, I would look on the inside to see who the cover designer was. And I found one I really liked. So I went to her website and was like, yep, this is what I want.
Yeah, this is what I have to be written.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Can you see that?
You own all those covers and haven't written the stories yet?
Yes.
Wow. Someone has an addiction.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I have a lot.
Where's the wolf? Where's the wolf?
Where's ours?
The one that when I saw it, I was like, you got the one I was looking at.
Down there. Yep, right in the middle of the page now.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, right there.
So
I wanted to snag it when I saw it go on sale, and then it disappeared. And next thing you know, she's like, I got this new cover. And I was like, that's the one I was looking at.
Like, you bitch.
So you just buy them and I'm going to write a book around this cover?
It speaks to me, yeah. So once the story percolates long enough in my head, then I can sit down and write it.
Oh my gosh.
But the cover actually
helps inspire you.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad that you got that cover, because at least I know it's going to a good
Yeah.
story.
I just have to
Yep.
write it.
Yeah.
So yes. So
I did that sort of accidentally last
I'm set
year.
for like the next 10 years.
Right. Yeah, I know. You're good. I'm always afraid to do that. Well, and here's why. Because last year or 2 years ago, I found this cover, Santa Claus. It was like an urban fantasy Santa kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God, I totally love this cover. I was like, I need to write something for this cover. So I just took a screenshot of it, but I didn't actually buy it.
Yeah.
And I started writing, but I don't write, like, it was very gritty, very like dark, not very, but it was dark-ish. And I write, and the book I ended up writing from that cover inspiration, thank God I didn't actually buy the cover. I mean, it was a gorgeous cover and I loved it. Hopefully it went to a good home. But the story I wrote that was inspired by that cover ended up literally being a rom-com. I mean, it's a paranormal rom-com, but it was 1000% rom-com. Like, everything about it was funny. And I was like, there's no way I can use this cover for this book. This has to be a cartoon cover of some sort. So ever since then, I'm like, I have to have the story somewhat written before I can buy the cover.
And I write, in a lot of the cases, I write the synopsis or the blurb before I write the story.
That's smart. Wait, didn't you say you're a pantser?
Yes, I am. I am. So I have to.
You got to have somewhere to go.
Yes, and or I'll have a little, hit list of what I'm thinking for this story. Yeah, I'm a pantser because if I write out a full, I have a beautiful cover with a full. I took a course on, plot writing, plotting out a story, and I have a full plot written out. I can't find the oomph to write it.
Yeah, I get it.
You've already written it.
It's there. Yep. It's there, but
I get it.
So,
Katie,
I like the surprises.
Are you a plotter or a pantster?
I am totally a pantser in my own writing. But professionally, I'm unfortunately have to be a plotter because I'm working from outlines, and it drives me crazy because even working from an outline, I'm like, I could tweak this, I could tweak that, I could make this different,
right?
But I can't deviate, so I'm stuck writing that way. So like when I can write my own stuff now, I'm like, oh, this feels so good. I can write my own way.
And that's thankfully, we work very well together. We've written another series together before.
Already. Okay. That's what I was just thinking was, I feel like you have to both be pantsters in order to work together.
And we've been beta readers for each other. We know each other's style. We've worked together since 2009 in various formats. So we're pretty like in sync when it comes to that kind of stuff.
My husband couldn't tell when he read the stories who wrote what.
Oh, that's perfect.
So that, with how he wrote and how he layered and how he did things, it just came out beautifully. And she tempers me. I don't kill as many people when I'm writing with her.
I don't know. Lately, I've been very aggressive. We might be killing a lot of people in this story.
Oh, good.
Yay! The outline after the fact. Like that's kind of how I do my synopsis too. After the fact, it's like, all right, can I shrink it down to the biggest, most important points?
Yeah,
and even that's hard, but still, I've got to have something to throw in the back of the book.
Yeah. Yep.
Totally agree. Same.
I'm looking forward to the freedom of being able to pants a little bit after working from outlines for so long.
And we have such a thin idea.
Yeah.
that we
start with. You start with the idea and you see where it takes you. That brings, for the pantsers, that's the enjoyment of writing.
Yes,
we're
I totally agree.
Story.
Yep. I mean, literally, like I've come up with like just the opening line.
Yep.
And you can create a whole book from that, like
or the closing.
or the
And then
closing.
you have, I've
Yep.
done both. I've run.
I like
you know.
I wish I could do that more frequently. I have only done that a handful of times, where like you like the absolute ending is in your head and you just
Mhm.
write it, and then everything else falls into place. That's only
Mhm.
happened to me a couple of times, but I love it when it does, because it does make it, I don't know, it felt like it was easier writing the rest of the book.
You got a
Yeah.
goal towards that you're writing towards.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
I
as
always
close.
like to do the I don't do outlines per se, but I do like to-do lists.
Bullet
Yeah.
points of
Yeah,
of
just
main
quick
things
things
we
that I want to
want.
get
Yeah.
at the story, and then there you go. I don't need to know exactly how I'm getting to all of these bullet points,
Right.
but these are the targets I want to hit at some point throughout the story.
I do that as I do that very rudimentary. Like as I start a chapter, I'll put a note. I'll do the notes in Word, and I'll like type out, okay, this is what needs to happen by the end of the book, and I'll just like bullet point.
Yeah.
Notes.
Yep. We usually have 4 or 5 for the whole book.
Yeah. Yep.
And do you write sequentially, or do you write scenes and then fill in the blanks between them?
You know, I write sequentially. It's funny because when I was writing this book that's about to be published next month, my head kept jumping ahead, like, oh, I want this to happen, but I got to fill in all this stuff before I can get to there. So there were a couple of points where I just kind of like scribbled down like a handful of paragraphs, because like, I got to get this out of my head, because it's I don't want to forget it.
Yep.
And then as a pantser, you know, if you don't write it down, you're going to end up going this way when you should be going that way. So, but yeah, normally I do write sequentially. I just sit down and just because it just goes where it goes. Like it doesn't, you know, I mean, and that's the beauty with romance, right? All you really need to do by the end is they need to have a happy ending. They need to live happily ever after. That's it. That's the expectation. So how they get there, it's going to be as much of a surprise to me as just everybody else.
Exactly.
That's the fun of writing it.
Yeah, I wrote a mystery, and I didn't know who did it. When I started the book, I purposely didn't know who I was going to have do it.
Oh, I love it.
And so it was as much a surprise to me as it was to the reader. But doing that when you're writing a mystery, you have to make everybody a suspect.
Yeah.
Which is like, especially if you don't really have an idea of who the hell is going to be the one you want.
Right? It's like Clue, right?
Really, really good.
That's awesome.
That's half the fun too. And then if you're like using beta readers, you have them guessing who you think it is at different points in the story to make sure that you've effectively thrown everyone off.
I'm like, no, that person's just too. It's just too obvious. I don't want the obvious.
But you got to have enough foreshadowing that the actual whodunit makes sense.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So yeah.
That's cool.
And some of that, and I've been praised by the people who've read it and have been surprised by it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the first book in the Agents of Asset series. As I was going through with my beta readers, every section that I gave them, I would ask, who do you think is the villain? Who do you think is the villain? Who do you think is the villain? To make sure that it was still a mystery by the time I got to the end.
That's, you know what, that's the best part of the reviews that say, I had no idea, I was so shocked by the, you know, the twist or whatever. Like, yes,
I get to go through.
Right, I know, I did it, I accomplished something.
Yes.
Like, that's the best kudos you can get.
It really
But
is.
I didn't know who it was.
Right. I was 5 minutes before hitting publish before I figured out who it was.
Exactly.
So the mystery you wrote, is it paranormal?
Me? I'm sorry. I'm reading that. I'm like, me? Yes. It was my FBI series, and that book initially started off not in the FBI series, but my FBI agent showed up.
You cross over all of your books, though.
Yes, I do.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
Oh, I
But
like that.
yep, she had premonitions of the murders.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yes. And she was in the New York DA's office. So
Oh, perfect.
oh yeah.
Wow.
So, and then he waltzed in and took off.
Appropriate.
Yes. Yes. I have kept those characters down in a lot of the recent books because they just won't leave me alone. So I have to write another book.
Right.
Which I started.
Something else needs to come before you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we know you have enough covers to cover it.
Right.
I do.
Whichever one you decide to go with next.
Yes.
Now, TJ, do you have like a cover addiction or some kind of writerly addiction of things that you have to have?
I don't. I have. I belong to a bunch of cover groups, and I'm always in there lurking. But I force myself not to buy because of that Santa situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, smart.
And I will say, like, probably one of the best covers I ever bought was I wrote a mermaid book, which actually is going to be published. It's part of it's in an anthology that comes out in May, and it's actually going to be under my pen name Tammy Lund, because I signed up for the anthology before I introduced this pen name, but it's paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably halfway through writing the book, and so I had a vague idea of what I was writing.
Yep. A vague idea.
And this book came up, and I think it was Crooked Sixpence, actually. And I might be wrong, though. I should probably look before I'm throwing it out there publicly. But she was doing like they do those like timed sales where like they say, okay, this book is going up at 5 p.m. on this date.
Yep.
And she put it in her private group first before it went up to wherever this other group was. And I was like, oh, that's my book. Like, that's my, oh my God. And it's this totally gorgeous mermaid cover. And so I basically stalked her until it went live. And then literally like 2 seconds later, mine.
Yep. The mine.
So, and she was actually really cool because it's under Tammy Lund in the anthology, but as soon as because these anthologies only last 3 months, 90 days or whatever. And as soon as it's done, I'm going to republish it, but I'm going to republish it under TJ Bell because that's my paranormal name now. Yeah. And she made me a cover with TJ Bell on it as well for not charge me extra, which was super cool.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if I have I have an addiction. That's hard. I don't think I do have one. Isn't that crazy? Is that crazy?
Pens or notebooks, I have a million notebooks. I think that's my addiction. There are notebooks all over my desk, all over the place.
Yeah.
And I scribble in all of them too.
Right?
Like, good luck anybody trying to figure out what each one is supposed to be, because I will have a note from one and then the note following it is in another book. Like, they're all over the place.
See, I have the complete opposite issue where I have one notebook and everything goes in that notebook, and it is so convoluted it makes no sense. It makes sense to me, barely, but it wouldn't make sense to anybody else because I should have more than one because I've got the paranormal and the contemporary and they're, I've got 2 pen names, I've got 2 newsletters now, 2 Facebook pages, oh my God, the whole pen name thing is.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because that's a lot of work.
It is.
I thought about piecing out my young adult from my adult, and I'm just like, no.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm all me.
I'm still torn. I'm glad I did it because it's like paranormal. I think readers, Melanie could and probably jump in and attest to this, but they're more flexible and willing. Like, they'll read. It's paranormal, right? So it's magic and fantasy and everything. So they're more willing to read everything,
right? Even contemporary,
contemporary readers. If like a lot of contemporary readers, it seems like straight up contemporary. Your paranormal stuff does not interest me at all. And so I was going through this whole thing. I had done. I did a couple of, because last year I struggled a lot with I didn't feel like I was moving forward in my career. Like, I wasn't selling any more books than I had for the last however many years. And I was writing, I was still publishing books, but my sales weren't going up and I wasn't growing. I didn't feel like I was growing. So I did I took some classes which I do periodically anyway, but like I kind of focused a little bit on it, and I did several like what the heck, like I did some I
Challenges?
not challenges, but oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on what this is called? But like I had like interviews or whatever, or one-on-one sessions with like super established authors, and like, okay, help me figure out why I'm not growing, kind of thing. And one of them said, you don't have a brand, like your brand is all over the place. Because she pulled up my Amazon page, and she's like, I like, what am I looking at here? Like, okay, that's contemporary, I think that's paranormal, that's contemporary, like you're like it's not organized. And I was like, holy shit, she's right. And then I still kind of went back and forth, because you guys know, because you're in the paranormal genre, like there are a lot of paranormal authors who also write other genres, and they write it all under one pen name, and they're fine.
Yeah, everything I do is supernatural suspense, with the exception of one book right now.
One book.
One book, and that was a young adult one about my high school being bullied.
Oh.
It's fictionalized, but
right. Sure. And you published it, and no issues.
No.
Well, that's good.
It doesn't sell a great deal, but I'm not a huge seller at this point anyway.
Right.
I would like to be.
I
would like
Me too.
I would like the 2012 sales again.
Right.
Oh God, those were the days.
Everybody raise your hands.
Yes.
Didn't even have to try.
No, I know. I know.
Yeah.
But I guess, and I have young adult, and I have urban fantasy and paranormal and stuff like that, but it's all supernatural suspense.
So you have a common theme throughout it. Yeah.
And pretty much.
Yeah. And I didn't.
Also denote the genre too.
Right.
And that's important. And if you can't figure out the genre based off the cover, there's a problem with the cover.
Right.
100%.
So you would think by logic that they should be able to say, oh, this is paranormal, this is contemporary, just based off the cover, even if the author name is the same.
Yeah, and I think I'm okay with that. I mean, I do have some covers that definitely need to be updated, but
same here.
It was this author who was giving me advice was saying that and I took it with a little bit of grain of salt, because she's and I'm a type A personality.
Clearly what she's doing is working, right?
Yeah, what she's doing is working. However, when you look, she literally writes one genre, one series. She's got 20 books. It's all the same series. All the covers look exactly the same. And I was almost like, wait a second, like this is almost too organized.
For our pantster minds.
Yes. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt, but it kind of got in my head, and I just kept thinking, like, is she right? Is she right? Is she right? And I was like, and at the same time, I knew I hadn't, like, I started in 2010, in 2009, during the other recession. I lost my job.
The same boat here.
I lost my job. I rediscovered, because of course, when I was in middle school, I wanted to be a writer when I grew up, and then real life got in the way and never happened. Right. And so then when I lost my job, I just started writing, because of course you couldn't find a job back then. So I sent out my 5 resumes a week, and then I just wrote for the rest of the time. And like, I mean, nonstop, like it just poured out of me like it had. And I was like, I've got to publish. I can't not publish this. Like, this is what I want. I finally am going to realize my dream, which here we are 10 years later, and I'm still working a day job. Like every other author out there.
13 years.
Yeah. The most lucrative form of writing is a ransom note.
Yes. It's good. I like it. Yes. And so I just, like, when I started publishing, I started with small presses before I went totally indie. And so I was like doing contemporary and paranormal, and I was just throwing stuff up there, and I didn't have a brand. I didn't have a logo. I didn't have anything other than the books, and none of them, if you look at my covers, they are not organized in any way, shape, or form. Every series is totally different from the next one, which I don't know that that's a bad thing. I don't know that it's a good thing. But yeah, so I kept thinking about that, and she kept saying you're too cluttered, your Amazon page. And I was like, I had been thinking about it for a while, because I knew a handful, like as many paranormal authors who write a bunch of different genres and just do it under the same pen name. There's just as many who have, I mean, I know some authors who have like 4 pen names.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how the hell do you do that?
I know.
Think about way back in the day before authors even had to worry about social media.
Yes.
Now look at today's authors and what we have to do because of social media. It's like quadrupling the work
Yes.
by splitting yourself off into so many personalities while you're still supposed to be writing all of these things and keeping up a very quick schedule to keep people's interest. It's like it's becoming
exhausting.
Almost too much work just to be an author and following all of these rules and requirements.
So Jane's idea of just stopping looking at social media is so tempting.
Right?
I mean, I
want to get off the hamster wheel.
I did for between Christmas and New Year's because I was family. I mean, I had things scheduled up till Christmas, and then I scheduled something for New Year's because I wanted to say Happy New Year's to people in my group, but I hadn't been on.
Wow.
I had been waiting for my cover artist and looking at my email and pinging her and say, ping me when you send me samples.
Right.
Because otherwise I won't be looking at my phone.
Yeah.
But it was quite nice.
Yeah.
And I kind of, and as I said earlier, I procrastinate sometimes. And if I'm writing and I'm like in a scene where I'm not like really into it, I will jump and I will start scrolling and I will procrastinate. But writing with Katie taught me that, okay, instead of doing that, write the next scene and then go bridge it.
Bracket.
Write the next
something. Bracket.
Yep. Exactly. Or ... Finish here. and then write the next scene. So, and I was like you, up until we wrote together, I was very, 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 very,
you couldn't move past that scene if you didn't finish the one that you were writing currently.
Right. Exactly. So she gave me the freedom to do that. And it's actually worked well.
But it worked for us as co-writers because we actually found leapfrogging worked for us because I would write a scene and get to the stuck point, and she would come in and catch up from that stuck point and write the next scene. And then I would catch her stuck point. Yeah. So we were like leapfrogging over and over.
Yep. Or we'd go write a scene and then, go back and it just worked that way. And for my mind is very linear. So doing that was like, it blew my mind. And then I'm like, oh man, I can do that. And if I get stuck here, I can write the scene that's in my head.
You'll
and
always
then
find the bridge. You'll always find the bridge when you have to figure it out later.
Yeah.
It was like such an eye-opener.
I mean, I like that because you're right. You're probably thinking 5 scenes ahead, but of course you can't write that fast. So
if you're really excited about a scene coming up, just write it and then get excited about getting there.
That. I do that a little bit I notoriously do it with sex scenes. Because the build up, and then writing the sex scene sometimes is like,
if you're not climactic,
what if you have a headache? Yes. Plus I'm like, oh my God, like when they're done here, like there's going to be this exciting action is going to happen. So I just want to skip to the action. So number one, I got to be in the mood.
Yep, exactly.
And so I do that like a lot of time, and I do it, and I post it on my Facebook page all the time because I'm like, oh, here's another sex scene, and I'll like I'll just write in big letters and highlight it, sex scene here, and then I'll start the next chapter because I know what I want. I know what's going to happen next, like because the sex scene doesn't just happen and then they live happily ever after. There's got to be something exciting happening afterwards,
right? Some tension or some regret.
I want to write somebody punching each other, hitting each other, using weapons.
Or the walk of shame.
Right. Something funny. Yes. So, but I don't do it. I love that idea though, doing the bridge. Like when you reach that point where, okay, I know, like, I don't know where to go from here, but I know I need to be over here. Like I like
just
that.
Put it in brackets and then give yourself the space. Yeah.
It made me write faster, which scares Katie.
You already write too fast.
But yeah.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna steal your idea.
Really given, really
Yeah,
given.
try
If it
it.
helps write
It
faster, go for it.
Yeah.
it was not comfortable at first, especially after being the linear writer.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to
But
get used
once
to
I
it.
allowed myself to do it, because it was a whole mental thing,
It's
Sure.
the fear.
it was
It's
like,
you don't
oh,
think you're gonna be able
okay.
to fix that
Yes.
bridge, but you will
Yes.
always come back and
Yes.
find the way to connect them.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. And it
I
was
like
like,
it.
oh wow, okay. This is pretty
And
cool.
sometimes going forward actually gives you the idea how to bridge it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Well, and that's that makes total sense as a pantster too, right? Because
Yeah.
because really I mean, you bounce all over the place anyway. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you're experiencing the story in real time.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is why if you're a pantser and you try and plot ahead of time, it takes the enjoyment out of the
It
story because
does.
in a sense you've already written it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
I'm getting sort of excited about the one I've outlined.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, this is years. I'm
Oh,
talking like at
wow.
least 3 years since I wrote this outline.
Oh my gosh.
Because every time I start to write it, I'll get like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, just
Well, because you feel like, I mean,
You've already written it.
subconsciously,
Yeah.
like you're confined and you can't, I can't go off to this tangent because the outline says I need to be here.
Well, I'll maybe part of me is like, well, if I don't like it, I'll just wing it.
Yeah.
I'll just go in a different direction.
There you
Now
go.
I'm sort of at the point where I'm going to allow myself to do that. But yes, it's interesting and funny how for pantsters that is a hurdle for us.
Yes, very
And-
much so.
And it's
a
very
huge hurdle.
funny for plotters how having to wing it is so
They-
uncomfortable
yes.
for them.
Isn't it funny how completely different the brains work?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh yes.
Yep. And then these people who say they can train themselves one way or the other, nobody ever trains themselves to be a pantster. Everybody wants to train themselves to be a plotter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not even going to try because I
really
don't
don't
have
want
the patience to try.
I really don't want to because the surprises
Yes, 'cause it's
happen with
fun.
me
Yep.
too as the writer. And it's
I
great.
am.
In an outline that's fixed. Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
sometimes it's so like it feels like a chokehold when you
Ugh.
can't veer when you know you
Yeah.
want to, you know you need to. It's good for the characters, but no, you have to stay right here.
Because you can't. Yeah, 'cause it feels like it sucks the creativity out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mhm.
Anita says outlining does not write a story. It changes all the time, especially when the characters don't cooperate. That is true if you
Yeah.
allow yourself to go off book. But some people, once the outline is there, that is the story. And as
Yeah.
a ghostwriter, that's what I have to operate under, which sometimes
Which
sucks the life out of it.
I give you props. I couldn't do it.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, I did
yeah.
it with my son when I wrote with my son because I made him write out the outline. But his outlines were bullet points.
Okay. I was
Okay.
going to say, how extensive was the
Yeah.
outline?
No,
Okay.
it wasn't
So
really
suggestions.
Yeah, suggestions. And
Okay.
when I hit a point in the story and I thought I could go either way, I went to him and I said, this could happen or this could happen. What do you want to happen? I mean, he was 12 at the time when we wrote that. So 12,
How
13, and
fun.
14 for the
That's
3
so
books.
sweet.
But I'm like, and I let him guide me, but he let me write.
Okay.
And
Oh,
I
that's
made him
cool.
sit with me when we were writing. So
Now that is cool. I feel like that is like acceptable to a pantster, I guess, because
Mhm.
it's not as constricting, right? Because
Right.
you have a way out.
right,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can see the fork in the road.
Yeah. I like
Flexibility
it.
is the key.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
it
I let
is.
him guide that because it was his idea, it was his story, and I just, wrote it with him. So
That's cool.
And I've had ghostwriting jobs where they've allowed me to go off book as necessary and to, we still need the story to get here, but if you can make this better, go for it.
Mhm.
And that, again, it's more fun to write. You
Yes.
feel better writing it. But when you're constricted to this is the outline, this is all you're allowed to write.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's like writing a business requirement and you don't agree with the business requirement. Just write it down. I'm like, but it doesn't work.
Right.
I can do like a whole TikTok series of just watching me write this story that I'm writing, just banging my head to the desk.
Oh God.
No.
Yeah, that would be hard.
It would be hell for all of us.
Yes, it would be. Yes.
Katie's living the hell.
Right. Right. We commiserate with you.
Yes.
We feel you. We
Well,
feel you
and
100.
I've been writing with I've been doing sprints with Rebecca. I'm surprised she's not here tonight, but
Yeah.
she gets to hear it from me because we'll have video chat going and she'll hear me just grumbling. God damn it. No, this is stupid. Why? No, they shouldn't do this.
Wait, so tell me about sprints, because I have not, like, I've been afraid to, like, I have several other friends that are like, do sprints with me, and I'm like, I don't know how to work
Sprints are
with someone
freeing.
else at the same time while I'm writing the story. Like, how does that work?
So
Because you just said
sprints
video
are-
chat, so that makes me curious.
they play on the writing in the 11th hour deadline mentality.
Okay.
Because if you have a fixed amount of time to write, you can't do anything but write.
Okay.
It also shuts the internal editor off because, again, fixed time to write. You don't have time
Got
to
it. Yep.
scrutinize everything you're writing.
Yep.
So what you do is you set like 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And you and somebody else, you don't have to be on a video chat or anything, but just, checking in accountability. You start a timer, you write for, let's say, 30 minutes, and then you come back and you go, okay, I got 1,000 words in that 30 minutes.
And
And they
it's
go,
sort of
okay,
a
I got 1,200 words
competition.
in, and it's kind of that
Yeah,
little
it's-
competition angle.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Who
because
can
you're
do the
just
most?
dumping the words on
Yeah.
the page, you're not scrutinizing them, you're
Right.
not, internal editing. You end up writing a lot more. Yes, it's going to be a little bit of a hot mess, but you're
Yeah.
getting it out faster.
Right.
So that way you can get the story down without thinking so hard about it.
Yeah. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is good. Yeah.
And if you
Now
do
I-
like 2 or 3 sessions, you could have an easy, 3,000 or more words
Yeah.
and you're done.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what's
we
the
used to have big
how's the
groups that
video
did
chat
that.
part
So
work?
kind of like what we're doing here, like
Yeah.
I'll send
While
out
you're
the
writing?
link and she'll pop on and we'll set a timer and just there's our accountability.
my
We're right
gosh, that's
there. We're
cool.
making sure nobody's getting up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nobody's
Okay.
jumping to somewhere else.
Right. Right.
No getting
onto
online.
Facebook.
I
You
mean,
know
I
what?
used to do it in Facebook groups. There used to be a couple groups, and then I don't know what other system, but we used to go out and do it on one of the other systems, and there used to be at least 2 or 3 people at a time that were there at any of the times I went. But it was a huge group.
Oh.
But I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a part accountability, part competition, and
Part camaraderie,
Right. Right.
and it's
I
just a
like
way
that.
to get those words in quickly because that first draft is usually the one where we give ourselves the hardest time.
Yep.
Hmm.
Even though you're going to go back and revise it
And-
1,000 times.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
But
at
doing
least
that on first draft, which nobody's going to read but you, you're
Right.
taking more time than is necessary.
Oh, I
Right.
like that. Okay.
So
Okay,
it's a
good
good
to
way to
know.
go. And if you've got somebody who will do it regularly, that's awesome. Or,
Right.
like Jane was saying, go on Twitter, look for word sprints. Go on Facebook, look for word sprints. There's
Yeah.
groups everywhere that do
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I know I see them all the time. I mean, like Facebook's the main
Yes.
one that
Yeah.
I'm on all the time. All the
Poor
crazy
Susie,
stuff.
here's my Yeah, because he's sitting behind Rebecca while I'm just screaming at the computer.
Oh, those are usually late at night, aren't they?
Sometimes
think
we
so.
did some earlier today actually.
Okay.
'Cause I've got a deadline. I've got to turn in my draft on Monday, so I'm actually
Okay.
gonna after we're done here, I'm gonna be going
Oh,
back to
geez.
writing. and finish
Okay.
up.
This crazy
go
one,
back
this
to-
outline
I'm
one
gonna
you
go
have
back
to
to
have done
reading
by
the hot
Monday?
book.
I grumble, but then I remember I'm being paid to do what I love.
Yeah.
I'm being paid
Yeah,
to
that
do
is
what I
true.
love.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
You know,
true.
there will be other stories. Don't have to like them all.
That's true. That is, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Oh
That's
my
true.
God, it's been an hour.
Oh,
It's
it
over
has.
an hour.
Shoot, okay.
I
Well,
just looked
before
at
we
that, I'm
go,
like, holy crap.
Jay,
we
you got to
will
get
be
to
putting-
writing.
TJ, we will be putting your links in the show notes below on YouTube as soon as we're done here. But if you would like to tell everyone where they can find you and when that next book is going to be available, let me pop that back up on the screen for everyone to look at.
I like it. So thank you. Yes, this is my next release. It comes out at the end of February, and I am most active on Facebook. I do have a Facebook page, TJ Bell Author, and I do have a Facebook group, reader group as well. It's called the Sexy Bad Lounge. I share it with. I actually used to co-write like you guys with another author, contemporary romance, but we do. It's kind of contemporary and paranormal mixed, but it's called the Sexy Bad Lounge because our series was the Sexy Bad series. So Melanie, who keeps popping on, she's in our reader group, and she's awesome. But yeah, Facebook mostly, but I'm also on Instagram, TJ Bell, and that's kind of it. And I have a newsletter. I'm on Twitter, but Twitter's kind of dying a very slow death. So. But I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight. This was great. This was so much fun. It was nice chatting with you and getting to know you guys a little bit better.
Yeah, you as well. You're welcome back anytime. Please come back and let us know how your books are doing.
Perfect. Sounds good.
And Jane, anything before we go?
Nope, we're on next week.
Are we?
There's nobody scheduled,
Surprise!
but I think we're on.
We're on next week.
Somebody scheduled. We can talk about horoscopes. We can talk about fun things.
Oh, believe me, we want to talk about horoscopes next week.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that.
All right.
And
Well,
how Katie's
everybody who's
and
watching-
whether Katie got her manuscript in on time.
Oh, she will. She will. She always does.
Always. All right, guys, we will see you next week, and we will have more fun stuff to talk about.
Awesome.